So I think there's probably about 2 more things we need to do to these this painting to get some detail in, because that's kind of where we are. Thing number 1 is we do need to put some shadows on our pillars. So let's get some brushes here. And so for shadows, I'm just going to use some brown. I find that works really, really well. So, and it doesn't need to be a heavy application, but we have the light side over here on our pillars, and that's pretty cool. But we want to have some area here where there's some shadow area. So I'm just going to use a light wash of brown, and we're just going to take it from here and put it kind of on the left side. I don't take it all the way over to the edge, but you'll notice that just a little bit of the brown in here, and it can be kind of broken because the pillars are not straight themselves. But just on the left side, put a little bit of some brown foreshadow area. Notice it's not a heavy coat. Now down here I might have to get a little bit more because it is the darker brown area of things. And if we do this on each of the pillars that we have, and then also on this little gravelly part here too. And if you want to put some little dots or dabbles there like that, so that we have kind of the brown side right there. That's kind of cool. And I have this other little teeny part right here, this little finger part that sticks up. It needs a shadow on it as well. Like that. So it's a cast shadow. I'm going to pop over to the next one. Next pillar, same deal right here. That more broken than I wanted. So cast shadow on the center pillar. I'm going to get a little more brown because I'm going through the brown. I don't have it as a straight edge on that one. It's kind of irregular. If you notice yours is getting too straight, just kind of chop it up a little bit. And then also down here into the sand pile. Into the sand pile.
I was wondering how strong the cannon wall should probably be when you do it.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Do you think it should be darker, or do you think it's...
No, I think that's a good value right there on that one. You can go darker, but I don't think you need to.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Okay, final pillar. shadow side, irregular edges. Okay, cool. So are you going, you're just coming from, or you're going to?
I was coming from.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
No, I was helping the teacher.
That's awesome. Okay. And once again, that really got dark in there, so I need some good dark browns in here. So that'll show up. There we go. All right, so that's the cast shadow for that particular part. Now the final detail that we have is we need to put some texture in both the cliff and on the pillar part, the upper part of the pillar. Let me show you on that. You're going to have to use either a small brush or the very tip of your brush, and it's creating some vertical and horizontal marks on the pillars, and so and on the cliff face. And so I'm just kind of taking and putting some horizontal marks in here. They should be broken. This is black. And they can be at irregular intervals or regular intervals. The thing about these marks is it's a lot of times in rocks they have separations, and what we're doing is drawing those separations in. So this is thick black. And some of them come from behind the pillars themselves, right? And so that was step number one, is getting my horizontals in there. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to put some vertical components in as well. They kind of stick down from parts of the horizontal ones. Now, some of you don't really like working with the tips of your paintbrushes. You could also use a micron pen for doing this. Some people like using that because it has more control. But this will help add some texture to the surface of the cliff face. And so I'll continue that through the through the cliff face. Now you'll also do a similar sort of a texture on the pillars themselves. And so I'm just going to go in here and do the same thing with some horizontal components.
Yeah. Anything? Bob, do you have like anything deeper?
I'm making them a little bit further apart on the pillar sections, just because I want it to be different than the cliff face. Also, I'm kind of doing a little bit of a double line thing. On the cliff, on the pillars. Because like I said, that will make it slightly different than the cliff face. But I don't go down into the sand.
They have buses on those buses that like take you.
I'm going just a little lighter on the cliff face pieces. That first one seemed like there was an awful lot there. Maybe I got a little carried away. And this is also a little further back, huh?
I mean, like, look at it. Like, almost exactly, it looks pretty nice. It's pretty nice, right?
Soccer movies.
I figured the marks were a little bit heavy in this first compartment, so I just took some water and diluted them a little bit, so it's not quite as strong of a mark. It was competing a little bit too much with the pillars. So I just kind of broke it in a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and take and pull a little bit of the value out with some water. So I didn't want that competing too much. There we go.
It's really.
You do? Oh my God, yeah, it's the 23rd. It's 23rd. No. 22nd. On Saturday, though. What can you get for you? What can you get for? Oh, so you have to show it.
Okay, so that's looking a little bit better with the marks on the pillars. Kind of using a double mark once again, a line next to a line. And then just a few small vertical marks.
And so my dad, he's like, you have two chances, like, but luckily he only took the other like 2 times out, 2 trouble.
Then once we have those in, once we have those little vertical texture and horizontal textural marks, I think we'll call it good. I kind of did not do the change from doing the vertical portions on the cliff just so it was different from the pillars themselves and they stand out a little bit more. And then also a little bit lighter on the application on the cliffs than on the pillars. And that should be the wrap up on that one.